My dear brother, I heard what you have to tell me, and it looks like a love for Jesus is something we both have in common. We both want to know if he's a teacher, a prophet, true God, or just a mere con man. And if the subject is real and it carries some real weight, let's approach it in prayer and love, not a spirit of argument or strife or debate. See, God, reveal yourself to us, no matter our background. Because from YouTube to Facebook and Twitter, millions want to see you clearly. We need freedom, God. We spent enough of our past time being bound. Now let's carefully examine the subject like our lives depended on it. Since even more than this life is hanging in the balance, we need to worship God by choice and not by birth or by chance. What if we love Jesus as a prophet? Have we taken time to study his message? If Allah commanded that we hear and obey him, what truth was revealed about Jesus and how much of it did people trim? The Quran says that Jesus was born of a virgin, which is of course miraculous. Then he lived the sinless, righteous life, unlike any other man or prophet among us. Then Allah even took him up to heaven himself. Why? There's something special about this man. You can't just put on the shelf. Not only that, but he's coming back in Judgment Day. Who is this man that Allah treated so differently and bring back to repay? Well, since Allah gave Jesus the message of the Bible, let's take time to examine it. Was Jesus dependent or united with God? When he said, I and the Father are one, on the nature of God he expanded. One God in three persons doesn't take an advanced math degree, since we know that 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1, even though 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Understanding this helps us see why and how he prayed. He wasn't speaking to himself and not to a different God, but to a distinct person, because Father, Son, and Spirit are one really, not an analogy or a facade. He spoke to his Father to teach me to do the same, and to show us God's unity in the Trinity. That's what he came to proclaim. And because God is one and just can't be separated, for the Father, the Son, or the Spirit to say, I do nothing of myself, shows more of the unity that can't be desecrated. See, Jesus was worshipped from his very birth, even before his first word. Then from lepers and blind men, and even the demon-possessed, down to his own disciples, he never disagreed, but blessed. Worship was freely given to him, and he never rebuked them, unless they threw it around without knowing where it stems from. You see, because he's God in the flesh, as hard as that can be to accept, but the same God of love who existed before all ages would for our forgiveness stop at nothing to pay our wages. He wept at our state, slept in our street, tasted the shame of torture and the sting of death. He counted bittersweet. The cross was never a source of joy for anyone. It's like the electric chair. But if I belong on there, then his love wouldn't bear it. What if that cross completed my salvation, and by his weakness, he showed what's greater than strength? Then he arose again from the dead, and gave my messed up nature real divine health. Oh, I'd wear a cross on my neck, and on my forehead if I had to, just to show that I belong to the one I love, and who's longing for you. He got up after crucifixion and left an empty tomb. If Allah had really switched him with another, why wouldn't people show the dead body to end the resurrection myth before it bloomed? Only he was fully man and also fully divine. Not created, but only begotten, something we probably have to define. You see, it comes from the Greek monogenes, which means unique and only one of a kind. So as man he got hungry, but as God he fed thousands. As man he got thirsty, but as God he sent living water. As man he wept at the death of a friend, but as God he raised him up after 4 days in the grave. So the Bible speaks of his divinity from cover to cover. But can it be trusted? Wasn't it written by men? And so many say that it's been altered. For a book under heavy scrutiny, it's never faltered. We trust Aristotle's writing, even though we have 5 of his manuscripts, or 10 copies of Caesar's, that when you compare to 5,664 of the Bible, looks like we have a credibility eclipse. So let's review the evidence and pray together for God's revelation. God is seeking us more than we are chasing Him, and His love has been pursuing us to make us a pure and holy generation.